Tonight on Meet Your Double Feature, a headless horseman rides, leaving a trail of decapitated bodies in his wake. It's up to New York Constable Ichabod Crane to solve the case and put evil to rest in Sleepy Hollow. Then, warring angels descend to Earth, battling to claim a powerful human soul. It's up to LA policeman Thomas Daggett to find the soul first and end heaven's war in The Prophecy. It's a Halloween double feature, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Meet Your Double Feature, a double-blind movie review podcast. My name is Thomas, joined as always by my brother Frank. Frank, how are you?
As always, excited to be here.
Excited to be here, ready to get going. It's been a minute since we recorded. We took a week off on our schedule on the back end, so it's fun to get back into it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, for anybody who has never listened to Meet Your Double Feature before, I'll go ahead and give a brief rundown of how things work. Essentially, this is a movie review show with a slight twist. Frank and I have both selected a movie for the other to watch and review on the program today that neither of us had ever previously seen. We picked it out pretty much based on vibes, and we're going to compete today to see who gave the better blind movie recommendation after the end of our conversation about both films. We're going to give each movie a score out of 10. We've been keeping track of those scores as we go throughout the episodes. I think series totals, I am still in the lead, but Frank, as always, today is a chance to turn that around. Do you think today's the day that you get more points and win an episode?
I'm pretty confident. I think I made some good choices out there in the past, so we'll see. We'll see. You tell me.
I mean, arguably, in the past, you didn't because you've been losing for like 6 episodes in a row, but yeah, maybe today.
We're working on it. We're putting it together.
So, I'm going to go first today, starting with the movie that, Frank, you asked me to watch, 1999's Sleepy Hollow. Now, we picked this out at the end of our previous episode, but as a reminder, Frank, can you tell me and the folks at home why you selected Sleepy Hollow?
Well, I mean, it's spooky season, you know? Like, this seemed like a good Halloween movie. I don't know if it's necessarily a scary movie, because I haven't seen it myself, but it's one I've heard of before, and it seemed to have a good cast, too, you know? Like, looks like Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci are the leads, so I'm genuinely curious to hear how it is, because this is one I might want to go check out myself.
Yeah, absolutely. You reminded me that, yeah, if this episode comes out on time, then it should be the day before Halloween at the time of release. So spooky season indeed. But following up on your other point, Sleepy Hollow, not that scary. I was misinformed. I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I think I said at the end of the episode last time that I'm not much of a horror movie guy for that reason. Like, I'm just the type who, while watching the movie, I'll be fine, but then sometimes I'll just have, like, actual nightmares over stuff I've seen in scary movies if they're, like, a little too much. And I think I had a whole conversation with my wife where, like, we were going to watch Sleepy Hollow, and she was looking at the IMDb Parents Guide as if I was 6 years old, and she said, I don't know, this might be too much for you. Like, now that I've seen the movie, insane. It's, like, not even... It's Tim Burton. It's a Tim Burton movie with, like, the horror dial turned up, like, a little.
She just did not have a lot of faith in you. She's like, you gotta go to bed.
You gotta go to bed. It is 8 p.m. Drink your juice and just go to sleep. But yeah, Sleepy Hollow is, I guess that's one of the main points about it that makes it an interesting film, is that it's classic Tim Burton. You know, for anybody who doesn't know, he's the one who did stuff like Nightmare Before Christmas, Beetlejuice, what else?
Edward Scissorhands. He's worked with Johnny Depp
Edward
a lot.
Scissorhands, yes. So his whole brand is essentially accessible horror movies, a lot of stuff geared towards kids. It seems like he puts kids in a lot of his movies. There are fairly family-oriented horror films that work for younger audiences, and Sleepy Hollow is probably the most adult horror film I've seen from him personally. It is rated R. The violence is definitely tuned up quite a bit, but it actually still has that familiar Tim Burton tone. I mean, we still have Danny Elfman doing the music, and those scores are always so, like, bouncy and fun. So it's not actually scary. It's just a little bit more adult in its themes.
Which seems like it would be maybe a good thing. Like, because I think I have mixed feelings about Tim Burton overall. Like, I do really enjoy some of his movies, but I'm not obsessed with his style.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm kind of in a similar boat. I've enjoyed a number of his films, but I'm not someone who would be like, oh my God, new Tim Burton just dropped. I got to run out the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Mostly because you could watch movies at home now, so I wouldn't need to go anywhere. But
You're running away because you're scared, because it's too
I'm
spooky.
running away. Yeah, I got to go to bed. I gotta crawl under the bed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow, I don't want to like jump ahead too much in talking about how the movie landed, but I do think that the tone is maybe one of the most divisive elements for me, because everything that Tim Burton and company do to make the movie a little bit more of an adult horror film, in terms of being a little bit more serious and violent throughout, is at times undercut by the familiarity of like the score and the cast and the overall production style, just reminding me of much sillier movies, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Like, the production design in Sleepy Hollow is awesome. It's following the classic Legend of Sleepy Hollow story, which a lot of people have probably heard some iteration of, with Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horsemen and people getting their heads chopped off. And it has this very fun kind of pop-up storybook quality to it, where there's a lot of very obviously fake sets, but they have so much depth and detail to them that they really kind of pop off the screen anyway. Like, a lot of the story takes place in the woods, which are very small spaces. Like, you could tell they don't really go that far back, but they used a lot of interesting techniques to like pump fog into the background of shots that give the impression that the woods go on forever. It's a really interesting quality, but if the goal was to make the movie a little bit more authentically scary, it doesn't really get there, because the whole time it does kind of just feel like you're watching a sillier, more family-friendly movie. But then at the same time, why is it so violent? Like, you could just cut down on the depictions of violence and then you'd be right back in PG-13 Tim Burton territory. So it's kind of lost in between those two extremes.
I mean, maybe he was trying to push it further than some of his other films, you know? Like, maybe this was his attempt at heading more in that direction, but it is just kind of at odds with his... So I would describe his style as very filmic, or almost even like theater-esque, with like... I'm thinking of like... what's the musical he did with Johnny Depp?
Sweeney Todd. He did an adaptation of Sweeney Todd.
Yes. I mean, like, again, I haven't seen Headless... I almost called this Headless Horseman. I haven't seen Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm picturing it looking somewhat like Sweeney Todd. Is that accurate?
That's pretty spot on. Sweeney Todd's another film, and I'm sure people who know his filmography better are like, actually, he did much more serious films at some point. But I would compare this most in the ones I've seen to Sweeney Todd, because that's another one that I think is a little bit more serious. And to my memory, Sweeney Todd's probably scarier than this one. Sleepy Hollow is tinged with comedy underneath the whole thing that never really gets all too scary, even though I do think at times it was trying to be so. So again, I don't know what was lost in what Burton and company were attempting to do with this movie versus what actually ends up on screen, but it is something that just I found myself thinking about the whole time.
Sure, I mean, that seems like something that's going to take you out of the movie.
In a way, like you said, that stage quality to it, it's not always a bad thing. That's a lot of what people appreciate about Tim Burton. I mean, one of the movies of his that I like a lot is Batman Returns. He did the...
Oh, yeah.
Did he do the first and second live-action Batman in the 80s, or did just the second one?
I think he did the first two.
I think he did as well, yeah. So those two, to me, probably just because I like the source material as is and watched it as a kid, those land a little bit better as Tim Burton movies that are not completely recognizable as his. They do have those elements of like expressionistic architecture and interesting backdrops and miniatures and sets, but they kind of blend into a different aesthetic quality, which is more like just the Batman proper stuff. Sleepy Hollow is just Sweeney Todd. It's just Tim Burton all over the place, mixed with a couple of key pieces of iconography from the original story, like the Headless Horseman. So it is an interesting movie, and it's very enjoyable. But the whole time, I don't know if in the end that's bad or good, that you spend a lot of the runtime just thinking about how the movie is made. You and I do that a lot in general, but I feel like even a more casual audience would be thinking about the production while watching the production. And that is kind of up to interpretation whether that's a bad thing or not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tim Burton is one of those directors where it's almost the film is sold on his name. You know, there are some directors where they have such a stamp on their work that people will go see a new movie, like if it is especially during this time period, like when he was kind of in his prime. So I think people would go in expecting that, like visual style, at least from him. But that's kind of what I was saying before. It's like, I feel like it definitely works better in something like Batman and some of his other films, but it doesn't always land for me. And I feel like he's so consistent with that visual style that it's like...
Right. You have to be in the mood for it. I think if you're ready, if it's Halloween time and you want to watch a movie like others of his, maybe you're a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, but you've seen it 20 times, Sleepy Hollow is a good one to throw on to switch things up, because it's going to feel like cozy. It's warm and familiar. But if you're looking for, again, this comes back to what the movie's goals are. If it's trying to be an authentically scary adaptation of the story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, it achieves that in some ways, but definitely not in others. And I guess maybe rather than continue with the top-down summary, I can kind of start to pick at what actually goes on in this one.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Sleepy Hollow is like, I think it was a short story originally. So it's one of those things that can just be iterated on a bunch of different ways. So I'm curious as to what actually happens in this one.
It's probably public domain at this point, given how many different versions there are and how often those characters come up. So I don't know, because I haven't read the original source, I don't know if this is a really straightforward adaptation of the original short story or not, but it does have a very simple premise. Essentially, our lead character, Ichabod Crane, is played by Johnny Depp, who, when the movie opens, is living in, I think, London, working as like a police investigator. And the sort of joke underneath the entire opening of the movie is that he's essentially trying to invent like criminology and being laughed out the door for it. Like they're talking about these murder cases, and he's like, well, what if we use evidence and deductive reasoning to figure out who might have done this or even could have physically possibly done it? And they're just like, nah, we already got a guy. We threw him in jail.
We got a guy. It's that guy.
It's that guy. So that's the premise at the beginning, is that Ichabod Crane, Johnny Depp, is driven by logic and reason. He has a lot of strong dialogue about this, that he's a very, I don't know, he's an intellectual. He wants to be able to prove things. He doesn't believe in superstitious things like a lot of his peers do. And again, he's kind of getting laughed out the door in London because of this. But it also gives him a unique opportunity because he is summoned by, I think, just like a magistrate or a judge or something, who sends him from London to the town of Sleepy Hollow to investigate a series of murders that have started taking place, wherein all of the victims so far have been beheaded and had their heads stolen.
Oh, well, that's a fun setup. I'm interested.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to kick things off, because Depp, you can tell, is like excited, or as Ichabod Crane is excited to get the opportunity, but also is like, what do you mean he stole their heads? You know, it immediately plunges him into interesting territory. And when he leaves London and goes to Sleepy Hollow, I hope it's London, because I'm going to keep saying that, and if it's wrong, it's going to be very funny. But he leaves London and goes to Sleepy Hollow, and essentially the rest of the movie, he spends in this small town with this big cast of characters who live there, which is sort of a who's who, actor-wise, which I'll get into. And he's adamant from the start that while the locals believe the murderer is the legendary Headless Horseman of folktale and myth, he thinks it's just somebody out there doing murders, and he's going to prove who's actually doing it. He's kind of trying to Scooby-Doo the whole thing.
It is kind of giving Scooby-Doo, which is great.
Yeah, and so that's really the framing device for the whole rest of the movie. You get him to Sleepy Hollow within the first, 10 minutes, and then we're kind of just off. We have this big group of characters, many of whom get beheaded by the Horsemen. We lose almost everybody by the time this movie's done.
And they all get their heads chopped off?
Pretty much. I think almost all of them. That's kind of the Horseman's gimmick. You know, if he didn't take their head, then he's just horse guy.
He likes it. It's funny to him.
Yeah, that's his whole thing. So early on, you get this whole sequence where you're introduced to all the important characters in the story. And I guess here's where I'll focus in on the cast, because it's probably the most stacked cast for a Tim Burton movie that I've ever seen. We have Johnny Depp as the lead, and we have Christina Ricci as essentially his love interest in the story. She's like one of the first people he meets when he gets into town. And I believe the web of characters here is a little complex, but I think she is the daughter of essentially the head of the town. I don't know what their title is, but like the main person in town, she is part of that family.
He's the town captain.
He's the town quarterback, and she is part of that same family. And family trees become important, so that's why I'm trying to clarify that as we get into it. But the rest of the town, there's essentially this tribunal of old white guys who kind of run things in town, and the grouping here is kind of insane. We have the actual head of the town is Michael Gambon, who was the second guy to play Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies. So that's fun. And we also get an appearance from, I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who played Harry Potter's uncle, Uncle Vernon.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So we got back-to-back on Harry Potter, but then we go full Star Wars, because in this movie we have Ian McDiarmid, who you might remember as Emperor Palpatine.
Of course.
We get a brief appearance at the beginning. The guy who sends him to Sleepy Hollow is played by Christopher Lee, aka Count Dooku. And I'll leave this to you, Frank. I'll see if you can get it. Guess who the main stunt performer was who did all the action scenes for the Headless Horseman?
Oh, Ray Park?
Ray Park, aka Darth Maul. So we literally have like the Sith trifecta in this one movie.
Oh, that's true. It's specifically the Sith characters.
Yeah. We get Palpatine, Dooku, and Darth Maul. And this movie came out in the same year as Phantom Menace. So some of those characters hadn't even shown up yet.
Wow. That's actually really fun.
Yeah. So that's fun. I feel like when the movie started and we got to Sleepy Hollow and I saw this group unfold, I was like, I'm so on board. The movie really has you at the beginning with like almost a Hercule Poirot murder mystery shaping up, where it's like, clearly all these guys are suspicious. Which of them's actually behind this? And unfortunately, I will say that while some of these characters get time to shine, others definitely don't. Like Ian McDiarmid has like 2 lines in the whole movie, I want to say.
Oh, that's a bummer. I feel like I haven't seen him in much outside of Star Wars.
Yeah, that was why it was a bummer. I was like, oh man, I want to see him like play somebody else.
Yeah.
And he's there, but again, he's not really a focal character. And so as it like wore on, I was like, ah man, we're not actually going to get this like group of old guy famous actors having a lot of dialogue scenes together. It's mostly just a couple of red herring suspects, and then again, people are just getting picked off left and right, so some of them just don't really make it that far.
Sure, yeah.
So the cast, again, probably one of the strongest points in the movie in terms of drumming up interest as it begins, but then also maybe one of its disappointments is that a lot of them are arguably wasted. They don't have a lot to do. I will say that for Christopher Lee, he actually said around that time that his career was kind of struggling, and that he credits his brief appearance in Sleepy Hollow with being the thing that got him noticed and cast in Lord of the Rings, which in turn got him into Star Wars. So he credits the movie kind of for rejuvenating his like late stage career.
Wow, that's really interesting because, I mean, I've always kind of had this image of him as this like prolific actor that always had that status.
That's what I thought too. I was surprised to hear him frame it as in an interview as that he was really struggling at that point to get like significant roles. And even the role in this was not huge, but it must have just been enough of a showcase that anything that can get you cast in Lord of the Rings is probably a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's perfect in that too, so.
Exactly. So that's fun. Again, I just really like that trivia that we have all the Sith Lords here in Sleepy Hollow. It's the Sith Lords meet Johnny Depp.
Which, I mean, even hearing you describe it is a fun, like if I sat through like that first act and that setup, I would be hooked with this movie. I definitely want to see where this goes.
I think that the combination of those elements, the production design, it's a really strong opening. And I think that maybe the hardest thing about it for me was that the mystery at the center of it all doesn't live up to that expectation. Because I think when that starts, I'm like all in, give me like an Agatha Christie murder mystery with a bunch of interesting monologuing and dialogue between all these fun characters. But I'm guessing in part because of the constraints of the original story, it's primarily focused on Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, and to a lesser extent, Mr. Dumbledore, and the rest of them are kind of just tertiary characters around that story.
Yeah, I mean, I guess even still, though, it is nice that they filled out those kind of side characters with competent and like recognizable actors too. That could be worse.
It adds weight to those performances. Like I said, maybe this was me being a victim of my own expectations here, of being like, well, I'm assuming if we got all these guys in a room, it's for a reason. And instead, it's more so just like, well, these might just be people Tim Burton knows.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, that's all I had on casting. In terms of the actual beats of the story here, again, the whole first act of the movie, Johnny Depp's thing is like there's no mystical headless horseman rising out of his grave to kill people. That just doesn't make any sense. I believe in logic and reason. I'm going to get to the bottom of this case. And sure enough, within the first day of him being there, multiple other people get killed in the dead of night. Basically everybody living in this small town is being preyed upon by what they think is the Headless Horseman. And surprisingly, near the end of the first act, we do find out that, no, it's real. It's a real mythological murder creature.
Does Johnny Depp figure that out, or the audience does?
He does. So he traces the evidence that he has so far alongside this young boy who's helping him out, whose father has been killed, and Christina Ricci herself. They all end up going into the depths of the woods to this big spooky tree that they all heard about. And when Johnny Depp gets there, he discovers that all of the heads that have been severed are being kept inside this tree, and that the corpse of the Headless Horseman is there too, and that the reason he is being called to life again is because someone stole his skull. Like, if he was laid to rest properly, he wouldn't be out, but somebody has taken the skull from his grave and is using it to command him to kill people. So it's kind of both. It is still a person, a living person, responsible for these crimes, but they are doing it by summoning an undead murder horseman.
I mean, I like that too. Like, honestly, though, I think if I was in Johnny Depp's position at this point, I'd be like, well, I'm going to go home. Just be like, Chief.
He does, amusingly, kind of completely freak out after this happens. Like, the next scene is just him, like, holed up in his room, and Michael Gambon goes in to talk to him, and Johnny Depp's like, you don't understand. He's real. He's a real Headless Horseman. And Michael Gambon just goes, yeah, we know. We told you. Everyone told you that. So that part's funny. We do get a realistic reaction where he just completely shatters his worldview, but then eventually he kind of gets his mojo back and is like, hold on, there's still a mystery here. Clearly somebody is trying to get specific people killed. I can tell that the Horseman has targets and is not killing willy-nilly, because in at least one case, somebody attacks the Horseman while he's out doing a murder, and the Horseman tries to just ignore him and like leave him be until the guy presses too hard, and then the Horseman kills him. So there's an angle here of like, this is targeted. It's not just random killings.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with like murder mystery, like movies and stories in general, is I feel like they're inherently captivating at the beginning, but then they have to not even just stick the landing, but it's like in the execution of everything that comes after that. Because I feel like it's kind of easy to set up an interesting murder mystery, but then to like follow up on it is where it's more difficult.
I'm glad you honed in on that, because to me, that's where Sleepy Hollow starts to lose me. There's a point near the middle, essentially after they find out that the Horseman is real, where the actual plotting of the mystery becomes less and less interesting. Johnny Depp's main theory at this point is that a lot of this has to do with land ownership and titles. They're aware that some of the first people to be murdered owned all of this land and essentially owned the town and all the riches within it because they had settled it or something. And he starts to track down like who would stand to inherit all of this money and titles if such and such person died. Well, and then he kind of traces like, well, that explains why they killed this person next, because this was the daughter of this first person. And he eventually traces it all the way back to believing that Mr. Dumbledore is the one behind the whole thing, which obviously makes his relationship with Christina Ricci much more tense because he's accusing her dad of being a, evil murderer mastermind. And so that's where things get tense for those two.
And is it him, or is that...
That's your first misdirect. They think it's Michael Gambon, but then in one of the more interesting action beats in the movie, the Horseman shows up at night when everybody's still out and about, and everybody freaks out and runs into the town church. And they discover that the Horseman can't actually go into the church. And so there's a scene in there where everyone's kind of freaking out and wondering what to do. And Michael Gambon goes up onto this elevated platform in the back where you'd presumably give the sermons from. And then there's a window behind him, and the Horseman shoots like a grapple thing through the window and impales him with it and just drags him outside the church, which is just kind of a funny beat that he can't go inside. So he had to just physically get his body out. And so then Michael Gambon's dead too. And it's like, okay, clearly he didn't do it because he is dead.
What? The Horseman has a grappling hook, though?
I don't know what you would call it. He fires something like a grappling hook that shoots through a person and then uses it to drag him through the plate glass window and like all the way outside the grounds of the church.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know he had like gadgets. I assume he has like a sword too. Or what is he cutting people's heads off with?
He's got a sword, he got a pumpkin head and a sword, and then I guess that grapple thing. That's really his only other gadget.
It's just an interesting one to pull out of nowhere. Just like a cool grappling hook.
He hasn't leveled up enough times to spec into new gadgets. I think he's going to unlock a smoke bomb eventually.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for those stealth kills.
So that scene is interesting. I think maybe one thing to highlight is that the action in this movie is kind of nuts. Like, there's some interesting action stunt work in what is, for the most part, supposed to be like a horror story. Because on occasion, people try to fight the Headless Horseman, and that's where Ray Park shows up to do stunts. And they're just like interesting little scenes. They're played for horror more than action, but there is actual like choreography to those little sword fight sequences.
Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't have expected that at all, honestly.
I agree. I thought it would be pure like slasher movie stalker imagery of someone just inevitably failing to get away. But there's this one dude who shows up with like a musket and just tries to fight him. And it goes on for a minute. And then that guy is the one who Johnny Depp is aware the Horseman doesn't want to kill because he has no reason to. But eventually he gets pressed enough that he does not behead that guy. He cuts him in half.
Wait, why? Why didn't he cut his head off, though? That's his whole thing.
Because he was just, I guess the Horseman was just in self-defense mode. He didn't need the head. He just was like, get out of here.
Oh, there's interesting. There's so many rules, like, with this horse. Is he unkillable? Were they shooting him and it wasn't working, or?
Correct. He is seemingly immortal, which, again, is part of Johnny Depp's evidence that this is like a mythical creature. There is also a legend given that the Horseman was this weird vampiric warrior guy hundreds of years prior that just died near the location of the town. And you get a brief flashback. And this is where Christopher Walken shows up. I know we talked briefly last time that we both picked a movie with him in it, but the only appearance of Christopher Walken in Sleepy Hollow is in flashbacks of him as the Horseman.
Oh, he is the Horseman.
He's the Horseman, but most of the time you're not seeing him. He's in a couple of scenes at the beginning, and then you see him as himself once towards the end.
Oh, that would have been really funny if it was his voice coming out of the pumpkin head. That would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been pretty funny. I was about to try to just do a Christopher Walken impression, which I've never attempted. There's no way I'm letting that go on the airwaves.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. You want me to feed
the
you a line?
Horse, the man is the horse, and the pumpkin.
The pumpkin? I'm picturing like the pumpkin mouth is like moving to almost like a Muppet, and it's Christopher Walken's voice coming out.
Yeah. I got a sword, but also a grappling hook.
You know what? That was not bad. By the time you got to grappling hook, I think I heard it. It's like he was in the room with us.
Yeah, that's something I hear from impressionists a lot. You got to find the one phrase that really speaks to that, that actor's performance. And I guess Christopher Walken just loves talking about grappling hooks.
It's his favorite thing. It's his favorite thing in the world.
All right, now I'm glad I did it. There you go. Points for me. Anyway, Christopher Walken is in the film, but if you're wondering as I went through the cast why he didn't show up yet, it's because he's only there a little bit. You see him essentially being killed in the past, and he interacts with these two strange girls in the woods, which feels like it's not related to anything, but then you find out later that one of those strange little girls in the woods has grown up to be the person who is controlling him in the present day of the story. And the reason I set that up so kind of lazily is because the movie does too. We get the most boring reveal at the end of who's involved and behind all of this. It's just this witch lady who married into... What's up?
I just was shocked that there's a witch now. That's a twist.
Well, there's a witch in the middle of the story. I'm not doing this justice. It's been a few weeks since I saw it, but they go to visit a cave witch in the middle of the story, and she gives them a clue about what's going on and basically she tells Johnny Depp where to go find the spooky tree. So that's like a first act beat. But in the end, maybe I should reset. I don't want to leave anybody confused. So as we talked about, Christina Ricci's dad was not the person behind the murders because he got murdered himself. He got grappling hooked out of a church. So awesome. Then, at that point, Johnny Depp actually starts to suspect Christina Ricci herself because he sees a couple of weird signs from her, like she burned some of the evidence that he had collected that pointed back to her dad. He finds this inscription under the bed he's been sleeping in that he thinks is some sort of like witch ward. And so he starts to wonder if maybe she's partially responsible for this. And then in the end, it turns out that was a misdirect, and it was her stepmother. It was the woman who had married Dumbledore after Dumbledore's first wife died. And the reason that's supposed to be somewhat of a surprise is because we think that she died earlier, but it was never shown. They cut away from what looks like her being killed, and then we find out that she was behind the whole thing.
Oh, wait, you lost me there. So the stepmother...
I got lost. This movie loses me when you're watching it because it doesn't put enough emphasis on the actual suspects in a way that feels satisfying when any of this comes to light. So in the middle of the movie,
Yes.
Sorry, you tell me where you get lost, and I'll fill in the rest.
No. I was just gonna say, like, in regards to like murder mysteries in general, they're so tricky because, like, I've seen a few recently. Like, there's some fun murder mystery shows, like Only Murders in the Building. I know we've both watched.
Yeah.
I recently watched The Residence, which was a Netflix murder mystery show, like set in the White House, and you have to strike this balance where it's like you can't make it too obvious what's going on, but you still need to leave the audience with like enough breadcrumbs so that, like, I think if you want it to be like a satisfying story, that the audience could kind of figure some things out on their own if they're paying enough attention.
I think the best case scenario is where the whole thing clicks for you like 3 seconds before they say it out loud, because it allows you to fill the gap yourself, which is like rewarding, but also kind of backfills everything you've seen and helps you immediately understand, like, oh, they were telling me this, I just didn't know it.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Exactly. Yeah. Which is hard to do. You really have to like thread that needle, and like most of the time it winds up being some tertiary character is the one that's been behind it all along and not like the obvious suspects. So
I think the reason that it becomes frustrating in Sleepy Hollow is because we don't really spend enough time building up suspects in general. Most of the plotting is just Johnny Depp finding out the mystery of the Horsemen as a whole, and then he finds like one suspect, that person dies, he kind of half-heartedly thinks maybe it's somebody else, and then he's like, oh no, it's this witch lady who I just found out was a witch like 5 minutes ago anyway.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute, a witch? Like, there's more spooky stuff going on.
There was references to a witch before that, and there's other elements in the movie that help get us through the runtime about Johnny Depp's relationship with like myth and superstition and why he's so devoted to logical deduction. There's flashbacks about his relationship with his mom, who was seemingly married to a very devoutly Catholic man, and she was kind of just like a free-spirited nature person. And I think the implication is that she got accused of some kind of witchcraft and was like killed for it. So Johnny Depp has this like traumatic relationship with this same kind of thing, of people being accused of magic when they're really just interacting with the world in a way that people don't understand. Much like how he is trying to interact with things in a new way and people write him off because they don't understand it. So there's like recurring elements there, but like that's what the movie's about. It's not actually really about the mystery, and I think maybe that's where I got let down. I wanted a mystery.
Sure, because I mean, like, when it's done well, I feel like it's one of my favorite like genres. Actually, is like a good like kind of murder mystery. But I do like this whole like, you know, again, like Scooby-Doo type stuff. Like, is it real? Is it not? Like, it could have been fun if they'd like gotten to the end of the story and ripped the pumpkin head off, and then Christopher Walken was underneath. Like,
and he's like, it was me all along with the grappling hook.
In the kitchen, like, it's like Clue.
Yeah, it's like Clue. I realize my impression is starting to sound like Barney the dinosaur if I go for too long.
That would have been good. They take the pumpkin head off, and then it's Barney the dinosaur.
It's a Barney the dinosaur head? Yeah, that's good. That's good. People would like that. People in the 90s hated Barney for some reason.
Yeah, there was a documentary about that. I haven't watched it, but I've been curious about it. There was like, I think it was like a meme almost, like, to hate Barney.
A lot of people, like, they liked it as a kid, and then when they reached a certain age, they were like, nah, I hate this dumb dinosaur guy. So I'd buy it that he was the Headless Horseman. So anyway, I'll have to go back in the edit and make sure that this plotting made sense, but the movie is primarily about Johnny Depp's relationship with Christina Ricci, his relationship to the nature of magic and superstition, as opposed to stuff like religion and just things people can't understand. There's this interesting recurring imagery. Like, he has this toy that his mom gave him that is a little picture of a bird in this little circular thing that has these strings on it. And if you pull on the strings, it spins. And the other side has a picture of a cage. But if you spin it fast enough, the images start to overlap and it creates the illusion of a bird in a cage. So there's like very specific visual motifs about illusions and perception that do play into the whole thing. And I give the movie credit for that. Like, there's consistent thematic imagery, but you just can't hang so much of this on a murder mystery and then give like a super uninteresting resolution to that mystery.
Yeah, exactly. What was that? You'll have to help me out here. There was a murder mystery that you and I watched together that I think both of us really liked, like 90% of the way through until it got to the reveal, and it was really disappointing.
Was this like a Sam Rockwell movie?
Yes, it was. It was pretty recent-ish. I don't remember
was
exactly
a
when it was released.
Newer movie, the past few years, but I think it was a period piece setting. Oh gosh, I don't remember the title. I'll have to. Maybe I can really awkwardly dub in me saying the title from like much later.
Just say it as Christopher Walken, and he'll just
With
jump
Bonnie, the dinosaur.
That was it. It was Bjarne.
Bjarne the dinosaur. I don't know. I know which movie you're talking about, and I agree. That one also had a really interesting build-up. It kept the mystery at just the right level of like, I kind of follow it and I kind of don't. And then the ending was just like a super flat misdirect that, if you don't stick the landing, you kind of lose everything in retrospect.
Which you shouldn't. I mean, like, I feel like, it's almost unfair to judge it on that entirely, but it is in that type of film really important. Because I still remember, like I said, I feel like we were with that movie like 90% of the way. And then, a bad ending can just leave a really sour taste in your mouth, though.
It can. And I think the two things that hold back Sleepy Hollow is that the ending to the mystery is not interesting, and the core relationship between Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci is complete lack of chemistry. Like, it's not believable at all. They don't have a lot of scenes to drive home that there's a romance between them, even though the movie ends with them together. It just drags. Any part that's those two together does not hit, and I think that mostly just comes down to casting.
Oh, really? Do you think their individual performances were good, but it was just their chemistry was not there?
I think Johnny Depp's performance was quite good. I think that he gave a surprisingly muted role as Ichabod Crane. Like, he's nowhere near the most outlandish character in the story, and that's so rarely the case for him. He's always like the big wacky guy. So for him to kind of be the straight man against a lot of more strange characters was really fun. But Christina Ricci, some of it was just in how the character was written, but I just think that those two had like negative chemistry. And Johnny Depp even made some allusion to it in an interview where he was like, yeah, I met this girl when she was like 8 years old on a movie set. So it's a little bit weird now that we're playing romantic leads in the same movie.
Oh, well, yeah. That's going to translate on screen if he felt that uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was... Some of it's the script. It's not a very romantically charged story. It just has that element underneath it. All right, so that's Sleepy Hollow. I wish I had more to say about it, but I don't know. I don't want to give the impression that the movie's like a dull watch. It is kind of like that one you mentioned where I was enjoying it a lot and just felt deflated by the time it was over because I didn't like the ending. And so because of that, my reflections on the movie are skewed a lot more negative than they otherwise would have been.
Yeah, you're really gambling with that type of story because basically, regardless of how you feel about most of it, if that ending does not satisfy audiences, then I think a lot of people would just consider it a failure of a film at that point.
And that could be why people don't talk about this one. I didn't even know it was a Tim Burton movie because I feel like you mentioned, he's an auteur. The people group a lot of his work together, and despite it having all his usual collaborators, it's not really in the conversation for him. So I think something about this kind of works and kind of doesn't, and so it just fell through the cracks as a result.
I think some people like it. I think at the very least it's like a Halloween time movie that people enjoy.
It is not a bad movie. As always, we harp on the negative because it's a little bit more interesting to flesh out how they could have done something differently. The strengths of the movie are obvious the moment you turn it on. It's got good performances, an interesting cast. The production design is very charming. The dialogue's actually pretty good, which I was not assuming it would be. I don't always associate Burton's movies with having really strong scripts or anything. But Johnny Depp just has a lot of cool dialogue and interesting... I don't know. The language is a little... it takes place in the 1800s or whatever, so it's not modern, and it has an interesting kind of flavor to it.
Yeah, this is probably somebody's favorite movie, and they really disagree with you, and they're like, if he didn't have such a good Christopher Walken impression...
Yeah, if not for the Walken impression, I would have already turned this off. But yeah. Stay tuned. When we do our scores at the end, I'm not that harsh about Sleepy Hollow. I just wanted it to be even better. I think if they had cleaned up the mystery element, we could have had like a 10 out of 10 for what this movie's going for, because it hits in all the right ways, except for essentially how the third act plays out.
So you're just watching it, you're like, it'd be good if this was better. That would be good.
Yeah,
if this was
basically,
better.
that's how movie watching goes sometimes. You're like, if the movie starts and you don't vibe with it immediately, you don't really care where it goes. At most, you're like, well, they found this towards the end and they like that. But this one had me hooked. It was a really strong opening. Even as we got towards like the midpoint in the story, I was really engaged. And I kept finding new things to like about it. And so I was just disappointed by the ending because I was like, dang it, Sleepy Hollow. Frank is down by so many points. He needs this.
Don't worry about me, okay? Don't worry about me.
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
Because the movie I gave him probably sucks. Anything else? Any questions, Sleepy Hollow?
Honestly, no. I mean, I feel like you did a good job, actually, like, of talking about the appeal of the movie, because it sounds like there were some things that you were disappointed by, but I'm not turned off by it. Like, I'm curious enough that I would still want to watch this movie based on what you've told me.
Here's the benefit. For the folks at home, it's the day before Halloween. But Frank, for you and I, we got weeks. So you have time as we enter spooky season to watch Sleepy Hollow, and I would not recommend against it. I think it's a fun movie, and I think you would like seeing all the Sith in it.
All the Sith out there?
All the Star Wars and Harry Potter folks that pop in. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that was the impression I got. So I am curious to hear your closing thoughts and score on it, but it sounds like something I would be entertained by, at least.
I would say so. If you're looking for a Halloween movie and you want one that you've not already seen 10 times, you're tired of watching Hocus Pocus, check out Sleepy Hollow. There's something to it.
Yeah.
And then try out your Christopher Walken impression. We can all do one.
Exactly. And he's in the next movie too, so
He's in the next movie. Oh, somebody who was hoping that bit was over at the halfway point is like, no!
Never ends.
All right, well, we're going to head into our intermission now, but stay tuned after the break when we get to hear Frank's Christopher Walken impression.
Uh-oh.
Nothing? You got no?
Oh, I did an I don't know if you heard me.
Oh, what'd you do?
I did a uh-oh. I did a Christopher Walken uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Sounds like some sort of weird cuckoo clock. All right, coming back after the break. Frank, now we throw things over to you. The film I asked you to watch for today is, I have forgotten, I want to say 1995's The Prophecy. The Prophecy, like many of our recent picks, I gave it to you just based on who's in it. Coincidentally, also has Christopher Walken, as we mentioned before the break. But in addition to that, it has Viggo Mortensen, who, for most people, they only really know as Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. And I just honestly can't even really picture him playing anybody else. So I'm curious. I don't know how heavily he features in The Prophecy, but I just thought it'd be neat to see him do something pretty different.
It technically has Viggo Mortensen in it.
Ah, boo.
He does not show up for the first time in the film until I think the last 15 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
But is he like an important character, or is it just like a coincidental appearance?
He's the devil, so...
Oh! Well, listen, I know you're mad he wasn't in the rest of the movie, but you don't gotta be so mean.
Yeah, no, that's his character. He is Satan. So he's great. He is great in his limited appearance and role in the film. But we'll get to that at the end, I guess.
I know it's like a horror fantasy movie of some kind, but I didn't really read what the actual plot was, so I didn't know the devil was in it. I'm curious. My immediate association is like Constantine or something.
Dude, I was thinking of Constantine too, actually. But from the content of the film too, just like
oh, interesting.
Visually and like what they like were talking about, and how the film right away establishes its own kind of lore. I'm like, I feel like I've jumped in the middle of like the Constantine verse, and that's where the space we're in right now.
I'm trying to pinpoint what specifically that is. I think it's because of people in regular spaces, like people in just buildings and cities talking to men in suits who tell you they're the devil. Like that's kind of where I go with like Constantine imagery, is it's not pure fantasy imagery. It's just like a weird melding of that into like very recognizable spaces.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm looking at my notes for the film, and my first note is the pacing is ridiculous. And then
Okay.
my second note is movie feels like Constantine. So it wasn't number one, but it was number two.
It was number 2. I should really quickly. I think my top. I always write a note in my movie notes before the movie actually starts. I don't know if I've really made that aware to everybody, but at the top of Sleepy Hollow, I just wrote spooky, and then right below it, I wrote Danny Elfman again.
Again? Wait, what do you mean? You make a note before the film begins? Like what you...
Okay, so logistically, I open a note on my phone and I start like a bulleted list. And I find that sometimes if I don't put something in the first bullet and then I click away, it goes rid of the bullets. And so I just need to put something there so that the list exists.
Oh, so this is a technical workaround.
Yeah, so I just started writing like what's on my mind, it's just word association before the movie starts.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm not normally like a text to talk or talk to text kind of guy, but I do find myself doing that during like when I'm having these screenings, because it's just like I want to pay attention, but I also want to be taking notes at the same time.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I just paused the movie a bunch.
I do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was watching Sleepy Hollow with my wife because she'd already seen it and she likes it. And I could tell there was a bit of like, okay, you got to stop and write down Ian McDiarmid like you're going to forget he was in the movie. Anyway, sorry. That was a tangent, but...
No, I like it. Yeah. Speaking of pausing during the movie, I did fall asleep while I was watching The Prophecy.
Well, hold on. You can't just bury a lead like that. What do you mean? Was it late or was it boring?
It was late. I'd had a long day. This was the day before the screening, and so I was getting a lot of stuff ready for that.
Oh, the day before one of those screenings for your film.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, before our screening here in LA. And I was like, I gotta watch this movie tonight. I gotta stay on schedule here.
Yeah.
So it was pretty late when I started it, which I knew this might have been an issue. And then the score was so soothing. It was just like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it had just...
So it relaxed you to sleep.
It really did. It just kind of rocked me to sleep. And then I woke up during the climax of the film, which, to fast forward a bit, is Elias Koteas hitting Christopher Walken in the face with a tire iron. And I was like, I missed something here.
I missed something. Yeah. I was waiting for that to be like, and then I just figured I got it, and I came to the review today.
That was pretty good.
Pretty good movie. I don't mean to knock. Growing up, we would watch movies as a family, and I fell asleep during probably 90% of them. There is something about if you get the atmosphere right and you're like comfortable enough that you just fall asleep. And then I always felt that it was like the movie credits would wake me up. Something about that transition would instantly wake me up, and I'd be like, I've done it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's just you're in a relaxed environment. You're comfortable. You're happy.
The devil's there.
The devil's there, but it's Aragorn, so you're like, I guess I'm okay with it.
Okay. It's very
not that bad.
positive masculinity devil situation.
Son of Arathorn over here, but but yeah, but like people will get mad. People will be like, "Oh, you fell asleep during that movie," and I'm like, "That's like a compliment more than anything else." I liked it.
That's hilarious. I'm just picturing somebody at your movie screening falling asleep and trying to play it off. It's like, no. Just that's how much I liked the movie that I felt safe enough around it to stop watching and fall asleep.
Yes, I would appreciate it. I would be like, I understand. I understand your logic completely. Thank you.
How did we get through multiple unrelated tangents before I fell asleep during the movie?
So I did have to... I was at that moment where I was like, do I try and like... Because at this point now it's really late. And I'm like, do I power through, or do I just come back tomorrow? That's what I did. I came back the following morning.
The next day.
Yeah. Came back and watched the rest of The Prophecy. And I was like, what is this movie.
I thought
what?
this might be a weird one. Everything I read about, anytime the genre tags have like 6 different things in them, you're in for something.
This felt like a passion project film from the writer-director.
Okay.
Like, he seemed to be really into whatever this was.
These are some of the most backhanded compliments I've ever heard.
You know what? It's fine, though. It's fine. I actually
could tell
liked
this really
it.
mattered to you, and that to you, this really must feel like something.
This must feel like something. To jump around a bit here, though, this film had 4 sequels. Like, this was
4?
a franchise. Yeah. And Christopher Walken is in the following 2. He's in the second and third one.
Is he the main character in this one?
He's the main antagonist in this film. The main protagonist is Elias Koteas, which is great. I love Elias Koteas.
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones. That also, this is just sort of just a non sequitur here, but the early dialogue in this film, well, I'll get into it a bit. So Elias Koteas was a former, I don't know the correct terminology for this, he was a priest in training. Like, he was like about to pass his priest exams, and then he like saw a vision of the devil, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go be a cop, actually, so I gotta go.
Wait. He was training to be a priest, saw the devil, and thought, well, if the devil's involved, I'm gonna go, I think I need a different approach than being a priest.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need someone to walk me through that, 'cause
no, that was it. You got it.
I mean, that's not any more nonsensical than like, well, I was studying to be a cop, but then I heard there was a murderer on the loose, so I decided to become a priest. Like, it doesn't... Sounds like he just wants to get as far away as possible.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like this. I didn't know the devil would be involved in any of this, so I gotta go.
I thought this whole thing was made up. I thought this whole priest thing was just like a gig, you know?
He's like Johnny Depp, and he just doesn't believe in religion, but
he's like, I was going to pass around the hat that they put the money in.
He's going to grift everybody? That was his plan?
Well, maybe. Okay. I don't want to make judgments on fictional Elias Koteas' behalf about the church, but that is insane that he saw the devil and thought, you know what I need to beat the devil? A gun, I guess.
Yeah. So something about that made him like question his faith, and he left, and then
question his faith. That's like the most literal. Okay, I gotta.
Yeah.
Gotta be talking to. He is just like Johnny Depp. He's going into the church. He's talking to the priest, and he's like, "Guys, I think this whole God thing might be real." And they're like, "No, we told you that. That's why we're here."
But he's like the only one that has like concrete evidence, and like he's just like, "I gotta go. Like this is crazy." Okay.
I can't with this.
This is the first scene. We're still on the very first scene of the film.
Scene of the movie. We have proven that the Christian devil exists and decided to go anywhere but a church to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't. Okay, I should clarify. He doesn't see the devil because the devil is Viggo Mortensen. He sees some kind of like chaotic imagery, though. It's not clear what it is, but it's
like the Battle of Helm's Deep or something.
Exactly. Like that. It's like a battle. It is some kind of battle. He's seeing like angels being killed or something. It's very abstract imagery. But no, exactly to your point. It's like this you should double down on what you're currently doing, not go do something else. Yeah. But
it really calls into question what he thought the point of being a priest was.
It's like I thought this was going to be just like all good vibes. I thought it was going to be all
vibes.
good time.
I was just going to be like a celibate man and just hang out with the homies.
That was the selling point for him. He's like, sex is scary, and I heard there's none of that here. So,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I wish the movie would tell me because I feel like we just are about to gloss over that and get back to him being a cop.
Oh yeah. Right into cop stuff. So, anyway, The very next thing that happens to him that we see as the audience, like this, obviously we've jumped ahead in time. But he's a cop now.
Yeah.
And the very next thing we see is a literal angel comes to talk to him in his apartment.
Okay. And then after this is done, he's like, I gotta go be like a cobbler.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what. This whole just religious stuff just keeps following me around. I can't escape it.
If only there was a place I could go to better deal with this religious imagery.
Yeah, so he's really dumb.
Okay, so he sees something that he does not yet know is the devil. He freaks out. He goes to be a cop, and then he gets visited by just a human angel.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's good clarification. It's an angel in human form who comes to like warn him of what's coming. I don't know why he comes to talk to him specifically. Maybe he somehow knows he's going to be involved in this. I don't know what powers angels have in this universe, but
yeah, neither does Casey Jones, because he refuses to go learn about him.
No. So anyway, this is what was getting me back to the Casey Jones thing. So he's a cop. Just fast forward a little bit. Actually, no, I can't fast forward over this part because this part's kind of crazy. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I was just gonna jump right past it. But so that angel comes to talk to Casey Jones, which is what we're gonna call him.
I mean, why would you call him anything else? He's
Sure,
Casey Jones.
Exactly.
He hits people with a bat.
Yeah, he hits people with a pipe in this one. Comes to talk to him, and then the next scene is that angel gets attacked by like a bad angel, like full leather trench coat and everything.
The titular uniform of bad angels.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a K-pop band. So they fight in this angel's apartment because he has an apartment. I don't know how he did this.
Angel,
it's weird to have a job.
The good guy angel has his own apartment?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. You know what? I should stop asking for clarification. And
No, please do, because it's good. It's good stuff, because these are valid questions to ask.
Oh, man.
So the good guy angel gets attacked in his one-bedroom apartment by
one bedroom.
Bad, it might be a studio, who knows, by bad trenchcoat angel, and he throws him out a window. Good guy throws bad guy out the window. It's a
good guy angel throws bad guy angel out a window. And then Rorschach says, tonight a comedian died in New York, and that's the movie?
Yes, but also no, not at all.
But also no, yeah. What's that meme? It's like the claymation pirate guy where he's just like, well, yes, but actually no.
yeah, that.
That's the whole movie.
That's the whole movie. So bad guy angel gets thrown out a window, and then Detective Casey Jones comes to investigate this, and this is the point I was trying to get to, which is totally unimportant, but it matters to me. These cops, they all like talk in one-liners. It's crazy. I'm like, the dialogue early on, I'm like, this is just silly the way that you're all talking to each other. Yeah. It's like exclusively in like buddy cop guy one-liners. But the cop guy that's explaining to Casey Jones like what happened, he was like, yeah, this guy came out the window, did a half gainer into the back of this garbage can, and I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, he literally says did a half gainer?
Yes. And I was like, that is a line straight out of Ninja Turtles. Like,
that's right at the beginning of Secret of the Ooze. That's how Raph describes what happened to Shredder.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, was this just do people just love, like, is that like a diving term? I don't even actually know.
Yeah, what is a half gainer? Is that surfing or gymnastics? What is that?
Something, but it must have been really popular in the 90s because I was like, that is such a specific phrase that I have not heard like since that Ninja Turtles movie until this guy said it to Casey Jones in this movie.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Now my belief system is getting all messed up. This is really...
I know, right? So then from there, this body gets taken to the morgue and Casey Jones goes there, and the guy who's the mortician is played by the guy who did the like, that's gold, Jerry, on Seinfeld. Which was also funny because like he's also talking in like one-liners, but this is like not a comedy film in any way.
You could have fooled me.
But like that guy's funny. He's got a good screen presence actually.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He should be on Seinfeld.
He should be on Seinfeld just a few times.
Just a few times. It's not that funny, all right? We're not talking series regular. Just recurring.
Yeah, just a recurring, yeah, we know this guy. But I thought that was fun. No, don't
I feel like I'm derailing you so heavily. Okay, so just to recap, I just want to make sure I know what's going on. So Casey Jones is a dedicated atheist priest who's almost ready to become a priest until he realizes that the devil is real, so he becomes a police officer, and then a year later is visited by an angel who lives in a studio apartment and gets into a fight with a bad angel, throws him out the window. Casey goes to investigate. Here's a bunch of one-liners from Ninja Turtles, and then...
This is right around where I fell asleep. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now, when you went back and watched it again, did you skip this part? Are we sure this is not you dreaming about a different movie?
No, this was not. These were not NyQuil visions. This happened. This was. This is the first act of the film.
Prophecy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at least I'm caught up.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was actually a really good synopsis of the beginning there.
How does this end with Viggo Mortensen as the devil? I'm so confused.
As you should be. So anyway, we can get into this is what sets up our narrative here, and our narrative is so poorly explained, like almost intentionally so. Like it's keeping it vague as to kind of what exactly is happening. Like they're trying to keep the audience in the dark as some of these events are unfolding early on, but to kind of, I guess, skip forward to what is actually happening and make it easier to understand. Basically, good guy angel is there, kills bad guy angel. Bad guy angel worked for Christopher Walken, who is head bad guy angel?
Mouth of Sauron.
Exactly. Well, he's Gabriel, so he's an actual, biblical figure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But their objective is so strange because the two of them are both trying to get this specific soul of this Korean War veteran, because apparently this guy, this Korean War veteran, committed such heinous war crimes that he was he has the most evil soul there is. Like the mostest evil soul is this guy.
An American veteran of the Korean War?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And so they need his soul because apparently there's a war going on between the angels. Like there's two sides. And whichever side gets this super evil soul, they're gonna win for some reason.
Why would the good angels win by having the most evil person alive?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
As far as movie MacGuffins go, just weird things to drive the plot, I think we need the most evil soul of a war criminal. That's up there for weirdness.
I kind of like it because it's not your average movie MacGuffin. It's no, this is very specific. It's this guy really sucks, and we need his evilness.
So that's what the bad angels are, who work for the devil, I assume, are after?
No, they don't work for the devil. They
don't work for the devil. Okay, no, this is an angel civil war.
Correct.
Separate from the usual angel-devil situation.
Yes.
Are you sure you didn't turn on an anime or something?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. This guy, that wrote and directed this movie, he knew exactly what was going on. He was like, this is it. This is my thing, and people are going to love it. It's going to make total sense.
There's going to be 4 sequels.
There is. This is the only one that went to theaters, to my knowledge. I think the rest were all direct-to-video. But they happened. He made 5 films in this franchise that is kind of Constantine-ish. But I respect him for it, He put his weird stuff out there. There was some weird stuff in it that I really liked. It's kind of morbid. Really morbid, actually. So Christopher Walken is our main antagonist. Because he's team bad.
And how does he talk? Sorry, let me phrase. Does he have a grappling hook?
He doesn't need one because he's got like evil angel powers in this one.
Evil angel powers, not to be confused with devils and demons. That is season 2.
Also, actually, to tie this to anime, all the like a weird quirk that angels on both sides have, and the devil, Viggo Mortensen does this too, is they all sit. I don't even know how to describe this on this audio only platform, but like they kind of sit like Ryuk from Death Note, where they're like they don't sit in chairs. They put their feet up and like sit on their haunches on a chair. Does that make sense? They're like balancing atop the backrest.
So they're perching their entire body weight like an owl on the backrest of chairs.
Yes.
And it doesn't.
You got it.
Okay. So, and it's supposed to be magical. Why they don't just tip over and slam their faces every time? Okay.
Yeah. They all do.
I was gonna say I could try that right now. I don't think it would work.
No, but you should try it. Again, for this audio-only podcast, and tell us how that goes.
I'm going to download a sound effects package that's just like cartoon crashing noises.
Crash noises, yeah. Probably wouldn't even need to. You'd probably just make those noises on your own.
Yeah, most likely, but then I might break my computer on the way down, so we'll see.
Sure, yeah. So isn't that fun?
That's fun. Fun is a word I would use to describe
But okay, that. But that's not the fun thing I was getting to. The fun, morbid thing I was getting to is that
that wasn't morbid.
Evil Christopher Walken, like after he sent his trench coat angel in and he got thrown out a window, did a half gainer out the window, he starts recruiting like people who have just died. So he finds this guy who had just ended his own life and like reanimates him, basically. Like he doesn't stop that process, he just kind of like reanimates his body, and that guy kind of becomes his like sidekick character throughout the film. But it's really like, again, kind of fun and interesting in a morbid way, because he's like, each time you see him, he's like slowly like decomposing. And like
he's like a zombie.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like that guy's, I guess you could almost call him like the light comic relief in the movie, but his whole character is just very sad.
You know what this is reminding me of now too is Spawn, like the Marvel character Spawn.
Correct.
It feels like the Crow, like the 90s seem to have this counterculture aesthetic stuff about angels and devils that was very like, I don't know, kind of grungy.
Like metal, like what if we made it like metal and like...
Yeah, like what about the rock and roll version of this stuff. I just feel like that was in a lot of things at the time that I don't know if those would get the same play today, or if people would be like, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't do this version.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that love that specific aesthetic, though.
It's so of the time. I think that's what I like about it, is I can relate it back to so many other things that were such peak 90s aesthetic stuff.
And I will say, to this film's credit, like... From what I read online, this film does have a cult following. It's sort of become its own kind of cult classic in a way. I would maybe describe it as like a camp cult classic, but like people do gravitate towards this film. I think it did poorly upon release, but since people have developed a fondness for like the whole series. Because again, Christopher Walken did like the first 3 movies. He's in the next 2, even though they're like direct-to-video releases.
That's crazy. I mean, it's such a common pipeline in the home video area to make direct-to-video sequels. I mean, I just mentioned The Crow. There's like 5 Crow movies too, but well, I guess they couldn't have brought back the guy from The Crow. But either way, they don't normally bring back the lead actor even for the second one.
And it's especially interesting. I didn't look up the plot of those following films, but I mean, like he's definitely the antagonist in this film. Like, but he's the one that returns, and I don't know if it's in a different role in the following movies, but. And he's great, honestly. He has a great charisma. Like, he is kind of chewing the scenery a bit with this performance.
I mean, if you had to put someone in a movie like this, Walken is perfect, because he's going to go all in on it, almost just out of instinct. And somehow I feel like he could sell me on all of this making a lot more sense than it does in summary. Sure, yeah. Hey, I'm just telling you what happened, man. This is just what happened. The movie. All right, so Walken and his Hell's Angels are after the soul of an evil Korean War veteran who's the most evil man of all time. and not the people who started the Korean War, but okay.
Sure. It was
just
this guy specifically
who got sent there to be a part of it. Definitely.
Who was almost a victim in his own way, but
yeah. So that's like the driving force of the rest of the story. Is Elias Koteas aware that this is the MacGuffin he needs to chase down? How does he come back in?
So he gets involved in this because through, I guess, what he found on the body of Evil Angel and what he found in the apartment of Good Guy Angel, who was also looking for this soul, he sees, I think, the obituary of this army guy. And so he knows what town to go to, because this guy just passed away. So that's like, I guess, why his soul is up for grabs now.
Got it.
And so he goes to this town. Good Guy Angel gets there first, gets the soul, and then puts the soul into the body of a young girl to protect it, I guess. I don't know.
Like a kid or just like a young adult woman?
A kid, like a child.
Oh, a kid, okay.
Yeah. Because I guess, because he had it with him, and then I guess he knew that, like, Christopher Walken would find him eventually, so he had to kind of, like, put the soul somewhere else to, like, hide it. Because then Christopher Walken does show up and, like, he kills Good Guy Angel because he doesn't have the soul with him. And so, you know, Elias Koteas is doing his detective investigating stuff. And I remember at this point in the movie, like, anytime I'm watching, like, a movie or a TV show with, like, detectives, you know, like, doing that kind of stuff, I'm always like, is this really how this job works? Like, you know, like, because this guy's just doing whatever the hell he wants. He's not reporting to anybody. He's not punching a time card. He's like, yeah, and then I went into this guy's house and there was some weird angel stuff or whatever. It's like, who, are you telling your boss this? Like, are you... This feels like movie detective
leaving his jurisdiction.
Stuff.
Yeah, I feel like movie cop is such a different lore. And I could actually understand how in this world, if you thought you needed to go fight the devil and movie cop was an option, I would actually take that route too. Because if the goal was to become a regular cop, I'd be like, it's a lot of red tape to fight the devil. But movie cop has no rules. You could be a loose cannon, and the most you get is like a stern talking to.
Yeah, they also specify that he, like, at the beginning when he's talking to the guy who tells him about the half gainer, that he, like, works nights specifically. And so,
night
like,
cop.
He's like night cop, but this is all during the day. So he's, like, really tired, I guess, a lot of the time.
Okay, wait. Why doesn't he just pursue... Is he doing regular cop stuff at night?
I don't know.
Or is he just sleeping through his shift?
He's just... I don't know. But this is like, they called him in the morning because of this body, and so he had to deal with it during the day instead of doing his nighttime detective work. I don't know how movie cop detectives work, okay?
So
I don't
this
know
was
the
maybe
rules.
an exception, but it's just with the pace of the story, he's tired. That's like a character beat.
I think so. But it doesn't come back that much. It's just kind of, which that would have been kind of fun if he was, like, always really sleepy, but I guess that's probably not good for, like, your main character to be falling. I mean, I fell asleep, but, like...
Yeah, I was going to say. It's just like, oh, man, who's playing that music? And they're like, what music? And then he's just dead asleep.
Can hear the score of the film.
Oh, I'm so confused. Like, every new piece of information makes this more confusing. They're like, well... We got a body. It's 6 a.m. Better call night cop. And it's like, well, hold on. Who relieves night cop? Where's day cop?
That's true. Who relieves it? But does anyone really need to relieve him? Because when they're just doing detective work, they're just doing whatever they want, seemingly. So, like...
Maybe they have somebody ready to tag in. Like, he's in the middle of searching someone's apartment illegally, and then he just is like, whoops, it's 1 a.m. Better tag in day cop.
Day cop, get in here, buddy.
Yeah.
Day cop's just, like, super happy. Like...
Yeah. Oh, it's like the grumpy sunshine, like like fanfic trope thing where one of them's super miserable and the other one's super chipper all the time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gonna go find the devil? You bet.
You betcha, buddy. Here's a protein bar. Anyway.
He's always like walking in and like taking the booze out of Night Cop's hand. He's like, no. Remember what your doctor said.
You don't get any of that. You don't really get a lot of like depressed, like Elias Koteas, you know, like.
Okay. So he's not like a hard-nosed cop who's seen too much. He's just sleepy.
He's just sleepy, and his main thing is that he's really, like, it's supposed to be his crisis of faith is his main kind of thing. Which, again, like you said, you shouldn't have one, because you had, like...
Should not have one. I mean, I could understand if it was like, well, the church isn't prepared to deal with this, but he just... What does being a policeman have to do with it?
That was his backup plan. He was like, I'm going to be one of two things. A no-sex-having priest or a cop.
He probably thinks that's a rule of being a cop, too. He's like, good, safe place.
Two jobs. The two jobs where sex can't get you.
Where those women will leave you alone. Policeman and a priest.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so...
God, this show has the heaviest anyways that I have ever heard.
Well, especially with this film. I mean, it's just like...
I'm so lost. So we are... Okay, framing-wise, it sounds like we're bouncing back and forth.
You tell me what's happening.
I'm telling you my understanding as a stand-in for our audience who's also very confused. So we're tracking between Gabriel, the devil angel, searching for the soul.
Not the devil, because the devil is here. He just hasn't shown up yet. He'll be here
Gabriel,
later.
the misguided angel, searching for the most evilest of souls. And Casey Jones filling out his cop paperwork, but not. And he's just on the trail. He's just trying to catch up. Does he find where the good guy angel got killed? Does he find the girl?
Yes. So...
Aha! Okay.
He finds... She's not even really a love interest, but his, like, you know, female co-star of the film.
It's a different person.
Yes, she's
because we just said that was a kid. So.
No. I'm sorry. Yes. To clarify, she is the teacher. The person that he meets is the teacher at this school where this kid.
There was like half a sentence missing in there, and I knew what you meant, but I was like, let's be really specific. The teacher of the girl who's imbued with the soul of the evilest war veteran.
Yep.
Which would be the title of the series if it was an anime.
Just so people know exactly what they're getting into, and they're like, and also I was turned into a fridge or something. But,
also I was turned into a fridge, vending machine.
Yes. So his investigation leads him to this girl who is possessed, and they...
Wait, she's possessed by the spirit?
She's semi-possessed, you know.
Just a little possessed.
Just a little. She's like saying things that this warrior guy would have said, I guess, because you know how it goes.
You know how it goes. We've seen movies.
Not this one, but
not this one. Okay.
So he finds them. Girl. They discover that they need to have this soul exorcised from her, and this girl lives coincidentally on a Native American preserve.
Is she Native American?
I don't know. I assume so. She might have been adopted. There were some details. I fell asleep. Remember? There's
every time the movie was on.
I don't know. She lived there.
She lived there. Okay, we're just mixing mythologies again. I'm sure we're gonna get some Native American spiritualism.
Exactly. So they were like, we need to exorcise this soul from her body, and Christopher Walken doesn't want that to happen. So there's an initial interaction where Christopher Walken finds her, but Elias Koteas and this teacher, they like intervene, are able to rescue her. Elias Koteas like shoots and kills Christopher Walken's like sidekick guy, and he
killed
thanks,
the undead
buddy.
Zombie.
Yeah, and he like thanks him. He's like, thanks, you're a real pal.
The zombie thanks him?
Yeah, because he wanted to die.
Oh, he wanted to. So he wasn't like cool because he came back. He's like, no, I was trying to be. Okay.
Oh, no. He hated it the whole time. He hated Christopher Walken. He was just like, why are you doing this? Like,
man.
Yeah. And then so Christopher Walken goes and does that to another person. He gets like another sidekick person, which I'm like, this felt unnecessary. I feel like we could have just done this with the one.
We didn't need to. You don't want to do too many zombie sidekicks. That's a common trap people fall into when they're scripting their movies.
Yeah, especially rule of 3 zombie sidekicks. He only does the 2, but
only does the 2.
Anyway, They get the girl away. Another anyway. They get the girl away, and they're figuring out what they're gonna do. I think they're figuring out how they're gonna do this exorcism. And this is near the end of the film. And this is where Aragorn the Devil shows up. And
yeah, because that, now I feel like we're gonna tie everything up.
This is the crazy thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna lead into like the end of the movie here.
Sure.
Aragorn, Devil Aragorn, he solves all their problems. He solves the problem. He shows up and he's talking to the teacher woman, and he's like, hey, you know what? I don't like what's going on here, because if evil Christopher Walken angel gets his way, then he's going to turn heaven into hell, and that's my business. So we should stop him and what he's doing. And so in the climax of the film, Elias Koteas and this woman, I think they hit him with a car, the Christopher Walken that is, and they shoot him with a gun, and it's just he's semi-immortal, so they can't stop him. But then Devil Aragorn just shows up and rips his heart out, and it's just oh, well, okay, well, thanks, Devil. That kind of solves all our problems, actually.
Yeah.
And then they finish.
I've always said, not so bad.
So bad, that Satan guy.
That's Satan, dude. If you take the time to listen.
Really, in this case, he does nothing to. What were you gonna say? Put down your what?
Because I put down your phones. Put down your phones and just live in the moment with Satan, Lord of Darkness. I think you'll find he's got a lot of interesting stuff to say.
Yeah, he's just popping a squat there like an owl, and
that's right. I forgot. He's sitting there like an owl, saying, "You guys are weird."
And then they finished their exorcism or whatever, and Aragorn Satan's like, "Hey, you guys want to come with me to hell? It's pretty cool." And they're like, "Nah, we're good." And he's like, "All right, well, see you later."
Wow.
And that's how the movie ends.
Whoa! Wait, why did he want them to go to hell? Actually.
I don't know. He's just always recruiting, I guess.
Oh,
just looking
he's
for,
just before I go, fill out this survey card.
Tell me
how likely you would be to recommend hell to a friend.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
he has maybe 5 minutes of screen time. But he solves all their problems. He just kind of wins the movie at the end.
Okay, so understanding that the plot is intentionally vague, and a lot of this is just kind of going on vibes, and that we do have somewhat of a resolution to the story. Is any of this movie any good?
Dude, I was weirdly, except for the times where I fell asleep, weirdly engrossed in it. I was just in a way of what is happening? What am I looking at?
You're just rubbing your eyes. You're still not convinced you're actually awake at this point.
Yeah. I was just something's happening here. Somebody's trying to do something.
I feel like this is either I see what you're going for, but this bored me to tears, or it's I don't even know what's going on, but I liked it.
It's tough. It's tough to say, because from a film production standpoint, it had a certain aesthetic to it, but it didn't have a large budget.
Oh, okay.
I was just glancing at the budget of Sleepy Hollow, and that was $100 million film. Yep. This was a $16 million film, so it looks a little rough around the edges. Which, that's still a lot of money, but in terms of a film at this scale with the story they're trying to tell, it looked a little cheap at points. Visually it wasn't awful though. And Elias Koteas, I haven't talked about him a lot, but he was a good lead. He didn't bring a lot of energy to the role, but he brought a certain charisma to it.
Well, he was sleepy. He told you he was sleepy.
So sleepy. And he did that really well. So
just reminding me that this happened. We talk every now and again about I Think You Should Leave, the show, Tim Robinson comedy show, and there's that one skit where he's trying to eat a hot dog out of his sleeve during a business meeting without anybody noticing. And the first person who clues in, she's just like, are you trying to eat a hot dog out of your shirt sleeve? And he just goes, I'm so tired. That's his excuse.
That's exactly Elias Cote trying to eat a hot dog out of his sleeve while he's doing his detective work. Like,
I cannot get my head... I could take this description of the plot and jumble up all the segments and put them out of order, and I don't think I'd have any better idea of, like, what this movie was trying to say.
Yeah. In terms of the message of the film, something about faith. Something. Again, I'm convinced there's one man out there that knows exactly what he wanted it to be, and it's the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it. It was it was interesting. It was new. It was like you took some stuff, like, again, it's so silly in a way and like funny that it's like, this is what they want. It's like, this one dude was just the worst, and we just need his soul specifically. like there's been nobody worse than him.
I would like
this
to
guy.
consult. Like, maybe he was super sadistic or whatever, but it just immediately, as soon as you put it in a military context, I'm like, who is his commanding officer? Who sent him there in the first place? Did he start the Korean War? Did he manufacture the entire conflict?
Sure. And I'm sure this guy sucked. I'm sure he was super bad. Like, you know?
I just feel like if you're trying to pitch this as worst guy ever, why wouldn't you just go like crazy famous, like Jack the Ripper serial killer? You know, I just that
Yes.
That's such a weird way to frame, like, worst person to ever live is one of an invading army.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there were people just as awful as him. Like, what did he do that was... Because they're vague about it. They don't go into a lot of detail. They're like, this guy was just really bad, let me tell you.
Yep.
Okay.
Never washed his hands.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. This is normally the part where I'd be like, all right, what wrap-up questions do I have to get a sense of what the prophecy was about? I have no questions. I mean, I have questions. I have no helpful questions.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. It was just, it's so hard to even surmise my own feelings about it because I was like, did I like this? I don't know.
Well, we're going to find out shortly when we do scores, but, you know, art is meant to be challenging at times. I think it is also meant to be comforting if it's entertainment, but sometimes someone comes along and really wants to ask the big questions, like, why is a cop better prepared to fight the devil than a priest? And why doesn't anybody tell these priests that all this stuff they're talking about is real?
Because faith or something, right? Like, there's a theme in there somewhere.
What's a half gainer? Also is an important question.
What is a half gainer? Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We don't normally ask for feedback, but let us know in the comments if you, without looking it up, know what a half gainer is. Because
we have assumptions. We have assumptions.
We
just don't know exactly.
Maybe it's a term for throwing people off of tall places in New York City.
Into trash, specifically.
Into trash, bins, or a garbage truck. If there's enough litter, it counts.
Yeah. We'll make exceptions.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Welcome. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I can't with any of this. Okay, so after that illuminating conversation about the prophecy, Frank, I think we need to move into scoring. I am at a loss for Sleepy Hollow. I know a lot of what I talked about today was criticisms of the storytelling and the mystery, but there's so much to like about the movie overall. I don't think I've ever come closer to wanting to give a movie a 7 out of 10.
Oh, here we go. It's happening.
But as we established in our very first episode, giving a movie a 7 makes you a coward with nothing to say.
No, not literally, though. You can give a movie a 7. It is allowed and acceptable.
My original point was that people love to just say this one's a 7 out of 10 with no context and no elaboration, because it's a really hard opinion to tear down, because anything could be a 7, because it's basically saying, it's okay, I didn't love it, and that's up to me, that's my interpretation. Like, how am I supposed to argue against someone saying, it's a 7 out of 10? If you go any lower or any higher, I could be like, come on. But gosh dang it, Sleepy Hollow might be a 7 out of 10. It's
all right.
Exactly in the middle of being on the side of the coin of like, I like it, it's a fun movie and it's good. but it messes up some very crucial things that would stop me from rating it any higher than that.
I mean, that's fair. Like, what would you say? I guess I didn't get from your review like what it messed up the most in terms of like how they handled the end of the film.
I think that the story after the first portion where he's in Sleepy Hollow, like everything from like the halfway point onwards, because the mystery is not very clear and the way they're going about solving it is kind of aimless feeling, the movie just starts to drag, and it's kept up by some strong performances and some interesting sets and just production elements. But by the time you get to the third act and the stepmom witch lady is revealed as the villain, the actual resolution with her is just odd. Just a series of odd choices and story directions that by the time it was over, I was like really deflated. But that doesn't discount that like 1/2 to 2/3 of the movie were pretty engrossing.
Okay. I mean, 7 out of 10. That's where it's at.
Anyway, so that's our first 7 out of 10. I really didn't think we would happen across one so soon. But over to you now for a complete mystery of a movie from my end. The Prophecy.
The Prophecy. Gosh, question mark out of 10? Is that a...
Like, I have no conclusive thoughts about what we talked about.
I'm floating between a couple numbers right now.
Okay.
Like, I did not... Like, it's not like I hated this film. I'm gonna say 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems acceptable.
Yeah. Right? Because there was definitely things I enjoyed. I liked the cast. Like, you know, Viggo Mortensen, for all 5 minutes that he was there, killed it, you know?
Yeah. Sounds great. That was like his Silence of the Lambs, you know? A few minutes of screen time, Academy Award. Except he didn't get one because nobody saw this weird movie. Yeah. Christopher Walken, of course, like, did what Christopher Walken needed to do in that role. Like, and Elias Koteas, it was fun seeing him in like the leading man role. Even though he was a little sleepy. He's a lot sleepy. And he made you sleepy.
Sleepy. Yeah. And just the weirdness of it. Like, I've maybe said this before on the podcast, but I advocate for, like, let's get weird. You know, let's not make traditional choices. And it's refreshing to see those abstract, out-of-the-box choices being made in something that has a sizable budget. You know, as I mentioned, this one had a smaller budget than maybe some, like, contemporary films of the era. But it was still, you know, like, I'm not sure which studio put this film out, but for somebody, like a writer-director, to get this weird movie made, like, I appreciate that.
It's something you wouldn't get now. This was a cheap movie, but the fact that it made it to theaters, and I'm sure some people saw it, that's something you wouldn't see anymore. This would have been somebody's weird Tubi original.
I mean, we've talked about, like, Blockbuster. Yeah, exactly. Like, or like a Tubi. Like, there's a lot of stuff buried on, like, streaming services that, like, only a few people will ever see. But, like, we've talked about, like, those, like, that, you know, go to Blockbuster on the weekend, take something home. You'd get some stuff like this sometimes. You'd get some stuff where you're like, what the heck is this? What did I just watch?
I don't know if we just weren't discerning enough, but when we would go grab stuff from the Blockbuster, it kind of felt like everything was on equal footing. Like, everything had pull quotes on it claiming it was good, and you couldn't always tell from the cover what you were actually getting. I mean, that's why I didn't know from looking at it now what it was going to be. So sometimes you'd go in and put the movie on and just be like, oh no, what have we done? I mean, family movie night has taken a turn.
Yes, exactly. Like, but that's how movie marketing has always been sold on the stars. You look at, like, okay, I recognize people in this film. You look at, like, the genre of the movie, and you're like, okay, you know, spooky. Maybe it's Halloween time. Like, so, like, that's how it's always worked and how it continues to work in a lot of ways. So, like, that's where these movies come in. And then, somebody sees them, and, like, I'm happy for that guy that made this and clearly really cared about the lore of this, that a lot of people have seen it. You know, he got his stuff out there, and he got 5 movies out of it.
He got 5 movies. I cannot imagine what happens in those other Prophecy movies.
I kind of want to watch them. I really actually kind of want to watch the other Prophecy movies, which, like...
We're still looking at, you know, prizes and punishments for who wins cumulative points-wise for season
one.
one.
You have to watch
If
the
we have
entirety.
to sentence somebody to watch 5 prophecy movies and do like a bonus episode about it, wouldn't be bad.
Write that down, because that might be...
Especially because if I lose the season, I'd have to start with the first one. I'd have to watch a whole extra movie.
Hey, listen, it happens, all right? I watched an extra movie for...
You did watch
Kick Fighter, Shoot Fighter?
You
whatever the hell it's called.
Shoot Fighter movie. Okay, we'll earmark that as a potential option. Whoever loses season 1 has to do a book report on the prophecy verse.
Book report.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of what I believe is episode 8 of our program. So 2/3 of the way now through season 1 in terms of our 90s movie theme. Frank, for the first time since episode 2, you have won the episode of Meet Your Double Feature. Congratulations.
You don't gotta phrase it like that. Come
That's
on.
a big deal. You're turning your life around.
Oh my God. It was all the prophecy. I'd like to thank the prophecy. Prophecy 2.
Prophecy 2, Prophecy 3. So what that means, it hasn't come up in a while, you get to pick first in selecting a movie for me to watch for next time.
All right. Let me relish in this for a moment.
Yeah.
Breathe it in.
Also, you've closed the gap on season 1 totals. So going into this episode, you were down, like, the total score of the movies you'd assigned me was like 6 points lower than the ones I'd given to you, and you've cut that lead from 6 points down to 3.
Okay. That's
He's
not
coming
bad.
back.
I told you. That pep talk. Remember that pep talk?
Remember the halftime pep talk? Yeah, he's coming back. We still don't know who is going to be assigned the prophecy verse by the end of season 1.
I might just watch them either way, but...
Well, don't, it's supposed to be a punishment.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, oh no, the prophecy verse.
Okay, so you want a movie?
Yeah, I love a movie. What are we watching for episode 9?
You are watching 1998's Rushmore.
1998 Rushmore. Why do I feel like I've heard of this?
You've heard of this because it is a Wes Anderson movie.
Oh, okay. But it must be, was this like his first movie?
It might be. I didn't actually double check that, but it was at least one of his first movies, if not actually his first one.
I mean, I know he was already working in the 90s, so maybe this won't be literally his first feature film, but yeah, that's interesting. I've seen a lot of his more recent stuff, so I'd be very curious to see one that is... I'm going to guess that this would be before his filmmaking style was completely solidified, because if you watch a Wes Anderson movie now, they all are so Wes Anderson. You know, they're like flat frames, the geometric shapes and the arrangements. It's unmistakable. And I wonder if when he was making stuff earlier in his career, it was a little bit more fluid between that style versus more traditional like filmmaking imagery.
I mean, his early career, I know I'm not up on my Wes Anderson lore. It's all prophecy now, but him and Owen Wilson have always been, I think they went to film school together maybe, like they have always been like collaborators. Like the screenplay for this film was like Owen Wilson's in it, but it was also written by Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson. So
okay. I'm on board. This sounds great. I like Wes Anderson's stuff. I feel like this might turn into a conversation next time about his filmography as a whole, because I do think that he's like boxed himself in of late. And a lot of his most recent movies have been like more middling in their critical reception, because I feel like he's just stuck in his ways now.
Well, it's similar to Tim Burton, who we talked about earlier. I mean,
yeah.
I think both of them have maybe failed to adapt their style later in their career, which would have been interesting to see both of them branch out from what they're so heavily associated with.
Okay, so Rushmore 1998. I have been struggling with what to pick for you next, but I know that up until now, despite picking like 20 movies, we still haven't had one from 1994. It's the only year that we haven't touched on, so I'm gonna hone in on that. I think that, Frank, for next time, I'd like you to watch 1994's No Escape, a science fiction action film starring Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mr. Goodfellas.
That's not how I was expecting that sentence to end, but yeah, Ray Liotta.
It's got Ray Liotta. I think it has Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters.
Okay. My interest is piqued.
Yeah.
1994.
We've covered all the years. Now, if you look back at our list, we have at least one movie from every year of the 90s. which is good because we're trying to help people find the forgotten gems and flops of that decade.
And maybe, yeah, some that they might be familiar with. I feel like, Rushmore's, people have seen this movie, but we haven't, so.
Yeah, and it's still arguably kind of overlooked because it's just not even remotely the thing that comes to mind when you talk about Wes Anderson now, because it's just not in his most famous. I think this is one for the diehards, the big fans, the prophesiers.
Prophesiers. It's true.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it. We have our picks for next time. Frank, as always, thank you for joining me. And thank you, everyone, for listening to Meet Your Double Feature. We'll be back in 2 weeks with probably more conversation about The Prophecy, if I had to guess.
Probably, right?
All right. Well, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Not keeping that in. There's no way. We have kept in the bye like 6 times.
Coming up next, it's No Escape, followed by Rushmore on Meet Your Double Feature.